Hey there, how there, ho there, Chef Cutter down, and welcome you to the NFL's 1960s Decades Tournament, second and 10 football. Bringing you this stuff. We got ourselves a barn burner of a semifinal. Well, first, let's talk about the quarterfinals. That's the 1961 Houston Oilers, the second AFL champion, took out the Super Bowl III champion 68 Jets. Well, they were AFL champs too. One score of 45-26. They didn't need 8 points in the fourth quarter. The 69 Vikings survived the 61 Packers 15-14. Of course, when I talk 69 Vikings, I'm talking about 69-70 when they went to Super Bowl IV in 1970 and lost. Took on the 61 Packers, who won the NFL title. The Battle of Kansas City, and that's how it was drawn up. The 69 team, the Super Bowl IV winning team, took on the Super Bowl I runner-up team and won. Justice has been served. And the 68 Colts Super Bowl III runners-up went to Green Bay and beat the 65 Packers. In the semifinals, we have Houston at Minnesota and Kansas City at Baltimore. Our first line of business will be in Minnesota as the 61 Oilers take on the 69 Vikings. So let's take a look at their paths. The 61 Oilers, through 2 games, are second in points, second in total yards, second in passing, third in rushing yards. So they've done well. They beat the 66 Packers to Super Bowl I, champs 14-7 in Green Bay, and then hosted the Jets, winning 45-26. Minnesota, 5th in points, 3rd in total yards, 3rd in passing yards, and number 1 in rushing yards. So by 5th in points, meaning that a team that's not in the semifinals is outdoing them by points. They beat the 67 Packers, the Super Bowl II winning team 24-10, and the 61 Packers 15-14. They don't face a Green Bay team. They take on a Houston team. On the other side, Kansas City, the 69 team, 7th in points, 7th in total yards, 5th in passing, 8th in rushing, yet, they've done quite well for themselves. They beat the 63 NFL champion Bears 17-7, and then they beat their Super Bowl I rivals 14-10. The Colts, 4th in points, 5th in total yards, 5th in passing yards, 7th in rushing. So basically, I don't know who has the points lead by a team, because that team's not even in. Well, anyway, they beat the 67 Raiders Super Bowl II losers 20-10, and they beat the Packers 21-6. Yeah, that does bother me. Well, I know that the 68 Jets scored. Well, I guess it's the Jets 37-26. I think they were number 1, right? That's what I thought. They were number 1 in points. Well, anyway, teams should be able to pass it, so we're going to Minnesota first. Minnesota are 3-point favorites. George Landa, a great quarterback, scorer, he beat game 40, better quarterback for the Raiders. This QB in the Oilers, Billy Cannon, the former Heisman winner, and Charlie Tolar are your running backs. Charlie Hannigan, the guy who receiving, Bill Bowman, Ward, Jared Ball, receivers, Al Jameson, Bob Talamini, Bob Schmidt, Ho Dunn, Morgan, and Rich Michael are your offensive line. D-line for the Patriots. Jim Marshall, Alan Page, Gary Larson, Carl and Wyandotte are flying purple people years. Linebackers, Molly Hagenberg, Roy Wilson, Ronnie Warwick, and your DBs are Bobby Bryan, Paul Krause, Kyle Kusuki, and Peter Patrick. We are playing all plays, no simulation. Yes. 3-10. Joe Cap, former CFLer with the BC Lions, and all that. He's your pivot today. Who also did okay? 2 games. Dave Osborne and Bill Brown will run the ball. Gene Washington, Bob Grimm, John Beasley will receive the ball at the start. Those are the starting liners. Brady Elderman, Joe Cologne, and Dingoff, Milton, and Doug Davis are your next line. D-line, Don Floyd, Ed Hosman, Orville Trask, and Del Alley. Mike Dukes, Dennis Morris, and Doug Klein, your linebackers. And your DBs are Mark Johnston, Jim Gardner, Frank Blake, and Tony Banfield.
First down. First down. First inning. Timeout, offense. That's good. First inning. First inning. First inning. Wide on the play. Illegal use of hands. Offense. Wide on the play. Personal foul. Defense. First inning. First inning. First inning. It's no good.
Well, it wasn't my idea.
First inning.
Flag on the play.
Illegal use of hands.
Offense.
Defense.
Out west.
First down. First down. First down. First down. First down.
Flag on the play.
Delay of game. Offense. First down.
Right now, you're pretty 216, so no turnovers. Yeah, no turnovers, right? 4 Houston possessions, and field goal, 4 points of field goal, Minnesota field goal, punt, missed field goal, punt, 20 halves. Nothing real big. Recap. Stuff. No one's unavailable, which is pretty good. That's just after stats.
Touchdown, Braves.
Turnover of the game turns out to be a touchdown. Marvel Dress. We'll get it. Pick 6.
It's good.
And so 2 turnovers in 29 seconds. Takes advantage.
Flag on the play.
Play.
12 men on the field.
Defense.
Offense.
Nope. Offense. Injury timeout. Toller has come back out. Opening. Must punt. So Minnesota. Touchback. 3 yards. 3 yards to Osborne.
First down. First down.
Flag on the play.
False start.
Offense.
Offense. No good.
No.
First down. First down. First down. Defense. First down. First down. First down.
First down, Reed.
Touchdown, Vikings.
First down. First down. First down. First down.
Touchdown, Oilers.
He's good. Receiving team.
No, the holding was on the return, so the interception counts. But they're down 10 yards. Houston's like, oh, come on. That's on them. Oh, mistake. Cody Banfield picks it off. Joe Cabot, a brutal mistake. 2 and 10. 3rd and 10. They'll have to go to the warning. 1 yard now back to 9.
Nigger.
He missed. Wide right. This one's going to get about 50 yards.
Timeout.
And a sack by Blake. 30 sacks for how many was that? 18. Good job. Get about 20 yards. You have 3 timeouts. Incomplete.
Timeout. Offense.
Oh, that's it.
Nigger.
Well, we got ourselves football. Free football here. Free football. Get your free football. We got overtime. Houston will strike first. Now it's Houston for the touchdown. Game set matches. Field goal, Minnesota. Ball back. Field goal to tie. Touchdown to win. If Houston doesn't score on this possession, next score wins. 2 and 10.
First down.
Hanging onto the ball. 3 yards.
First down.
47.
First down. First down. Illegal use of hands. Defense.
What's on the defense? Tigers at the end of the game. So they're at the 6. Just dive across.
Flag on the play.
Okay.
Offsides.
Offense.
Offense.
Well, that hurt.
Touchdown, Oilers.
What a game. Poor Minnesota. I feel bad for those couple of possessions. Box score, Cap 8 for 15, 124 with 2 interceptions. Reed and Brown both had good running games. Bland at 22 for 45, 250, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. It was kind of bland until that pick 6 by Trask. Brown then drove 17-10, and then with under 3 minutes left, Hennigan from Atlanta tied the game, and then they went for a touchdown. You gotta feel bad because he had a couple of massive turnovers by Minnesota. 3 trips to the red zone for Minnesota, 10 points. Right, Houston, all 3 red zone trips ended in touchdowns, so they do what they do. And this one at the passing attack, running attack, Houston at the passing attack. George Blanda is your hero. Minnesota can't believe they let that slip through their hands. Well, can't blame them either. Now time to go to Baltimore. At pivot. He's the guy who came in for knee tendonitis, was the main quarterback, led the Colts to a 13-win mark in 14 games this season. And they lost the Super Bowl to the Jets, yes, but they won MVP. Tom Matcher, he'll start at running back. Willie Richardson, Jimmy Orr, assuming he's got 2 wide receivers. John Macklin and receivers. Bob Fogo, Glenn Wessler, Bill Curry, Dan Sullivan, and Sam Ball are your O-line. The D-line for the 69 Chiefs, Aaron Brown, Charlie Cook, Buck Buchanan and Jerry Mays, William Lanier, Bobby Bell, and Jim Lynch, linebackers, Willie Mitchell, Johnny Mitchell, Robinson, Jim Kearney, and Evan Thomas for the DBs. Here we go. This play is 4 yards from that.
Timeout, offense.
Baltimore has to call timeout in the first minute. Yikes. And that was the return. Welcome to and West Punt. Mike Livingston at pivot. Well, you're in the semifinals. No effing way. Glenn Dawson is at pivot. Mike Livingston. You're in the semifinals. He was helpful in the 69 Chiefs, and yeah, you can use him. Mike Garrett, Robert Holmes, who started running back. Otis Taylor, Gloucester Richardson, Peter Pontius are your receivers. Jim Tyler, Ed Buddy, DJ Hall of Morgan, and Davey Hill are your offensive line. D-line for Baltimore, Bubba Smith, Billy Ray Smith, Arkansas, Ray Miller and Ordell Ross, Mike Curtis, Dennis Galbus, and Don Chinnick, linebackers, Lenny Lyles, Rick Falk, Jerry Logan, and Bob Porter, and
First down.
We could have a Super Bowl. I was going to say Super Bowl 4 rematch. I know the Vikings lost to the winners. We could have an AFL final. Yeah, the Oilers Vikings had no turnovers in the first half.
First down. First down. First down. First down.
Better? Third and 10. Fourth and 10, they'll have to punt. 3-0 Colts up 24. Colts are down to the 20. That was a net. Okay.
Flag on the play.
Flag.
False start.
Offense.
Offense. First down.
3 yards to carry. Third and 7.
First down. First down.
Flag on the play.
False start. Offense.
Touchdown, Colts. This is good. Flag on the play.
Tipping. Receiving team. First down. Timeout defense. First down.
Didn't matter.
First down.
Why not?
It's no good.
I was like, well, so they got the ball back anyway.
First down. Timeout offense.
It's good.
Dawson 4 for 11, 43 yards. Not really. Glenn Dawson like Michael's field goal, Mackey touchdown catch, and then Michael's 3-for-3 field goal after. But a lot of people said we should not have went for the missed field. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. Picks. 13-0. No one's unavailable, so that's.
Flag on the play.
Flag.
False start. Offense.
Flag on the play.
Illegal use of hands. Receiving team.
Touchdown, Chiefs.
Pick six. Back in it.
It's good. Touchdown,
Personal foul. Defense.
Roughness after play, so they're going to say no to the one, but I thought they would have said that now it's at the one. That's a brutal mistake. The play will stand and will be assessed on the kickoff. But yeah, well, so a pick six by Kansas City, and then Preston Pearson goes for a touchdown. I thought they would call for ball one, maybe go for 2 then. I would have picked the extra point.
First down.
Taylor.
Timeout defense.
4 yards, Timmy Brown. They're probably going to just run the clock in.
Timeout defense. First down. Timeout defense.
I think they got this one.
Touchdown, Colts.
Oh, that might be a score.
It's good.
Oh, that might have been the last round. It's 20-2. Kansas City 2 touchdowns over Sixers.
First down.
First down, zero. They give it to Adam Cool's pass. Went for a run. I'm surprised. I think it's eating. Third and 7. Fourth and 7. I would have given it to John, probably to Jimmy Orr. Morrow 14 for 24, 256, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Maybe give it to him. Jimmy Orr almost got 100 yards receiving. He was just off by 2. Dawson 18 for 44, 218, but he threw 4 interceptions. Yeah, it's funny that, you had 2 pick sixes by the Chiefs, and that was all their offensive scoring. They had a pair of field goals too. So, nope. Yeah, so Trny picked it off for 57. And then Pearson on the kickoff return made it 19-7. And then Morrow or 26-7. And pretty much game over. Kansas City had a chance, but Terry Cole ran it in 33-20 is your final score. So they took the safety. Well, they had a bunch of 1 running line. I would have touched on that. 5 red zone possessions by Baltimore, 4 scores, 1 missed field goal, 4 tens. Kansas City went to the red zone, picked, fumble, field goal downs. Chiefs had nothing to hang their hat on. They took 4 penalties, big one. They did have 2 pick sixes. So Baltimore's got to be careful. Summary-wise, George Blanda, the offensive player of the week for what he did in the overtime thriller. Don Floyd, the defensive player of the week. And Preston Pearson, the special teams player of the week for his kickoff return for a touchdown. Blanda leads the passing attack. Morrill second. Rushing, Bill Brown, 159. Taylor, 146. Reed, 144. None of those guys are going to make it to the final. Hennigan, picks. You got some guys with 2 Colts with 3 of them. Sacks. Floyd's now got 4 of them. Hennigan, Groman, and Jim Taylor have 24 points each. And we are at the championship game at Mile High Stadium next week. So Mile High was randomly picked because of the 60 stadium, so they'll host a snowy game with the 68 Colts being the home team against the 61 Oilers. So this should be an interesting matchup in Denver, and we'll see what happens next week. I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.